Nation, Gabe,
Nick,
and we are here today to bring you another installment of Cricket Combos. Oh, I'm excited for this one. Now, honestly, Nick, I'm not gonna gloat, and here's why. Here's why. Obviously, you guys know this is gonna be our coverage of the Ashes. Test match 4 at Old Trafford, and I had a couple Australia fans, my man Dr. Jihan, much love, reach out and be happy about, retaining the Ashes.
Relieved.
I would say more like, relieved that Australia retained the Ashes. I'm not sure if I'm happy about it. I mean, yes, in hindsight, you're happy about it. But to be honest, they were saved by the weather.
Absolutely.
They were saved by the rain gods. And here's the thing, and I'm sure you're going to have something to talk about later. There's going to be controversy about, it's still on England because you know that it's Old Trafford and it always rains. So Ben Stokes, I'll let you talk about that later. With that being said, I was right, Nick, to say I was concerned about Paddy Cummins wearing down. I thought it was going to be Game 5, the 5th Test match where he wore down. He wore down this Test match, Nick. He struggled taking wickets. You cannot have this guy bowl.
So you think he's going to be taking wickets every single match, every single time?
Bro, I thought, listen, what did I tell you?
Yeah,
it was all...
Fans are rough.
I'm just saying, it was all Cummins and was it Mitchell Stark in the 3rd Test match taking wickets? And I'm like, I think they got 17 wickets and 14 were between those two. I'm like, can somebody else put some more? Well, what happens here? Paddy Cummins struggles in that 2nd match, does not get the wickets, and dude, in that 2nd match, in this 4th match, I should say, in the 4th match, in the 1st innings, couldn't take any wickets or whatever.
Took one.
Was it one in the first innings? Yeah, took 1 wicket, 129 runs, Nick, getting pumped. And I'm sorry, listen, Nathan Lyon is irreplaceable. Everybody's like, Gabe, you're being too harsh. No, he's irreplaceable. I knew the minute Nathan Lyon went down, he's gonna struggle. They're like, but it's England, you don't need a spinner. Really? Talk to the English spinners that destroyed Australia. Well, your boy Noeen Ali taking the back wickets in that 2nd match. Bro, you need the spinners to break the tempo from the pacers and even the seam bowlers. You know what I mean? Like
Marnus and Travis said. They're comparable to Nathan Lyon.
How dare you? Marnus. Bro, Nathan Lyon is like he is what's he got? 400 test wickets? 400 test wickets? He's the Ashwin for Australia as far as a spinner test wicket goes. He's irreplaceable. I'm sorry. And I'm like, Murphy, next, please.
So rough.
Australia, and here's the thing. They were talking about how he was so durable. He was dependable. Yeah, he's durable until he's not, Nick. He's dependable until he's not. And as you get old, I just turned 43. Body hurts. Went golfing. First from 9. I crushed it. The back 9, Nick. I'm on a cart every 5 minutes. I'm taking a breather. If they would have got the oxygen out there, I would have been like. Now, mind you, we had an early tea time, right? But it's still Vegas. By 11 o'clock, bro, it was 100 degrees.
That is one game I'll never understand.
It was 100 degrees, you know what I mean? So I'm like, honestly, I'm 43. I hit a shot and I felt it everywhere. How does that happen? And you golfers are right there. I hit a shot, okay, shanked it, by the way.
Surprise.
The knee hurt, the hip hurt, and the shoulder. All in one shot. I couldn't mess everything up at the same time. And I did. And after that, I took that.
Getting back to the cricket.
My point is, and I know nobody's going to want to hear this, but let's go back to a recent English player that suffered a shoulder injury and hasn't been the same. And even when he came back, was not the same. And you guys all know I love Jofra Archer, but dude, he's done. He's never going to be the same. Once those injuries come, you're done. Nathan Lyon has now the injury and the age. All right, Nick. It's to expect him to come back and be the normal Nathan Lyon. Come on, stop it. And the age will catch up to you. Australia, you better develop yourself a better spinner. Murphy better be doing nothing but spinning. Childbirth, sorry. Watch your over-zoom being bored. Why is it all these cricketers have kids in the middle of the season? Guys, I'm joking. I know that cricket's all year long. But doesn't it seem like Virat Kohli out, not the Ashes, the tour of Australia? Because he's having a kid.
Don't talk about that.
Everybody and their mother has kids during the... It's on a calendar. It's planned out. Figure it out. It's called Planned Parenthood. Come on. You don't know.
All I know is Australia You guys got lucky here. You guys got absolutely lucky because England dominated in this match. Even a James Anderson that I've been complaining about doesn't get any wickets, but he keeps the economy so low. He was so stingy with the runs that he allowed in the overs that he bowled. He had 5 maidens in that second innings for crying out loud. Oh, my man, Chris Wilkes.
Oh, gosh, here we go.
I'm not going to gush too much. I already made that one video. Yes, he got a 5 and I actually called it because he had 4 when I recorded that video. Said he'll get 1 more tomorrow, and he did. Got a 5 but he wasn't as effective in that second innings, and this came down to that second innings. They had 71 overs to bowl out Australia, which is a tall order, especially when you got Manas going for 111 or whatever.
Right.
When you got a tough attack, but blood's in the water. You have your enemy in sights. Australia absolutely embarrassed you in the last Ashes in Australia. You lost the first 2 matches. You won the 3rd match. You put up 500-plus runs. You declared, or whatever it was that you did. You had them in hand. And you know at Old Trafford, there's always going to be rain, always. But Australia got saved. But England, you had 71 overs to get the job done. Chris Wilkes was able to get it done. Noeen Ali was able to get it done. Stuart Broad was able to get it done. Anderson, he bowled really, really well. Wasn't able to get the wickets. And so you had a situation. No, they didn't clear. Which almost 600 runs.
Oh, dude.
I mean, and they got almost 600 runs in 107 overs to compare to Australia's 317 and 90 overs. I mean, they had quite the innings. Zach Crawley, 189. Bairstow. He texted me when Bairstow was at 99. Can you believe Bairstow was at 99?
I can't believe
he got outright.
99 not out.
Root 84. Brooke, Stokes, and Moeen, all with half centuries. We had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I think Ozjad told me it was a record for the most.
It was the first time that England had 5 players in a test series in England go over a half century. Again, the Zach Crowley 189
had a century.
Dude, that's almost a double ton.
Almost a double ton.
Okay,
yes.
Bairstow might as well have had a ton.
You had an amazing innings of batting, right? And where I'm going to give Australia credit is they held out. I don't know if everyone knew the next day was going to be sold out to weather. I didn't know, but I didn't check the weather report. I'm not sure if it was a foregone conclusion there was not going to be a day 5. But Australia would have been, they wouldn't have survived the 5th day. They would have been bowled out. England would have won by an innings, if not anything else, and they would have had to chase a little bit. It was an amazing situation, and England, they batted too long, didn't declare, and I get it, it's Australia. Right?
Now, I want to know how you feel about that. I'm glad you mentioned that. England batted too long and didn't declare. Listen,
even though it was only 107 innings, they were batting like crazy.
I'm gonna say I destroyed Ben Stokes in that first test match. Was it the first one or the second one where he declared too early? I think he did cost the English team a match there. He declared way too early, in my opinion. But then here, he does the opposite, waits too long, and now he's getting crushed for that. Guys, even I'm not going to be a politician. I'm sorry. I'm not going to talk out both sides of my mouth, because you guys can easily go back to the first video. Gabe, you said the first time Ben Stokes cost his team a match because he declared too early. Now he declared too late. That's not me. I'm not that guy. How do you know when you declare? Nick, that's my point, man. Being a captain in cricket, dude, it's just have somebody else make the decisions. You're putting too many decisions in their hands.
But he doesn't have the experience, the pedigree as a captain to be able to rest on his laurels. And it does, even in his first match that we saw where he was captain, the very first match before Joe Root came back or whatever, he made some blunders by the toss and everything. I mean, he seems to have one of these decisions, huge decisions that he gets wrong. He's on the wrong side of every single match that he loses. But other than that, he's fantastic. He can bat, he can bowl a little bit, he can lead these guys. Obviously, they fight hard for him, but he just seems to have that blunder every time. But looking in hindsight, and I understand this is all in hindsight, right? You're in the situation, if you know that rain's a possibility, especially where you're at, it's always in England, in our summertime, right? It's always going to be a factor. Why not declare after you get to 500? And if you have to chase for 100 runs, then you have to chase for 100 runs on the back end. Why go so far? Because
I'll tell you why. Because he heard so much garbage from the media about declaring about the first match.
He should never listen to anybody but himself.
You know they do.
I know they
do.
Shouldn't.
Virat Kohli, remember when Virat Kohli, and I was like, I can't believe he did that. When I think it was, I forgot what paper, went out and called him out because he had just given up the captaincy for the ODI team or whatnot, and it was they had already taken his captaincy for the test team, and it was like, oh, he's stepping back because there's too much pressure. Well, if he really wants to do what's right, I forgot. They always said like, everybody knows what the most pressure packed team, captaincy is, and it's not the ODI team. And he was like, okay, then I guess I'll step down as the IPL captain as well from RCB.
Right.
They do. The players let the media and all the pundits and all the talking heads. Again, I talk about Kevin Durant. It's hilarious. If you're on Twitter, give him a follow just so you can see him get into these Twitter spats with nobodies. Yes. You really want to have some fun? Say something about him on his Twitter. See if he doesn't at him. It's hilarious.
To get back to this, I understand that, and the reason why I say you shouldn't listen to it is because you're going to have a million more people that are going to have negative opinions. You listen to one, you might as well listen to all of them. Just don't even play that game. But the problem here is I feel like they had a match they could have won.
They should have won.
I'm mad because I feel like Australia got off easy here because they were dead and done. Even Jihan, who's a huge Australia fan, he sent me an email where he's like, I can't even talk about the Ashes right now.
It was rough.
Hopefully rain will save us. And that was like by day 3. He was right. Rain definitely saved him. But you talked about no Nathan Lyon. That's not the way they would write it up. You said there's no other spinner. The advantage of not having him in there and having these all-rounders is look at your lineup. You're going at number 8, and it's still Alex Carey, a true batsman. Right. You don't even get till your tail end until you get to the 9th, and Paddy Cummins can score you a half century. Right. So you have this daunting lineup, which is even more reason to try to get to him a little earlier and try to get those wickets. But the declaring, all that kind of stuff, I see it all the time. It seems like there's no perfect science to it. Real quick, India drew with West Indies. For West Indies fans, they're so happy about that.
Woo!
But India dominated in that match.
Yes, they did.
And they didn't declare until like the last 5 minutes of the third session of the 4th day. I didn't understand that decision. It didn't mean a difference to me because they got rained out on day 5 as well, so it didn't even matter. But I don't understand declaring so late.
I'm going to really piss off cricket fans right now.
I get it when it's your second innings and you got to be a little more... But in this situation, you still had the innings to bat. I don't understand it. I feel like, first of all, Australia got really lucky. And if you had to pin blame on Stokes, there were some situations there where he could have made some better decisions.
Would you like to see some Duckworth-Lewis in Test cricket? Where they're... Look at even Nick.
Have it, though.
Even Nick.
It's just a match drawn.
I'm just saying, instead of a match being drawn, what if they just say,
in this situation, I absolutely would because there's a clear winner.
There's a clear winner in this match. Just like there was a clear winner. There's no way.
In this situation with the whole retaining the Ashes, all that's decided on the 5th day being rained out.
Let me ask you guys, and it goes against the tradition. In a match like this, where it's just weather that's affecting it, not a true draw. A true draw is when you got all 5 days, guys are battling, and you had your 90 overs or 100 overs, and you could not take my wicket, right? What we saw from Jimmy Anderson, and I love that, and Stuart Broad, that would not fold and would not give up their wickets when they were in Australia to get whitewashed because that's what was about to happen. Last Ashes. That's a true draw. Not this. Not this. They had a whole day, Nick.
It's annoying.
They had a whole day. They would have easily, and I'm an Australia fan, but they would have easily chased that. Every Australian fan knows that.
Even the Australia players got to be like, that was kind of weak. But, you can say that England had 71 overs. Tall task for this Australia lineup to get him out in 71 overs, but it could be done. They're only able to take 5 wickets. Mitchell Marsh, he's thanking his lucky stars that he didn't lose his wicket again to Chris Woke. He lost in the other 3 innings that he batted.
Oh, he hates himself.
He was able to outlast 107 balls, which turned out to be a very heroic performance there.
It mattered. It absolutely mattered.
For once in a long time, I have not seen Travis Head wasn't able to get you anything in that second innings. He's usually always been able to.
Smudge was bad too. I'm sorry, Australia fans. Let's be honest. Smudge has struggled. What's going on? All right, somebody let me know. Is he hiding?
Past his prime. I'm sorry.
Is he hiding an injury? Like he's like sleepwalking through these Ashes, man. All right. Even Warner has shown up. Kawhi showed up the first few matches. The last 2 matches where they've lost, it hasn't looked good.
This is the thing that you got to be worried about. You talked about. I don't want to spend too much time on this, but you talked about Nathan Lyon, right? Warner even Kawaja, he's no young spring chicken, right? Stephen Smith.
No.
You have like what 4 or 5 years maybe to get out of these guys.
No way.
Who you got? These guys are legendary contributors to. I mean, maybe not so much Kawaja, but he has when he gets a chance.
And he's got such a late start. I want to say he's actually like 37 or 38. He's up there in age as well. Warner's got a year left or two.
Warner's
Maybe
36.
36, he's like, yeah. So all of them are in their late
Kawaja,
30s.
I think, is 33 or something like that.
No, he's 36. Yeah, 36, 37 years old. 5 years? What are you, crazy?
Worse than I thought.
They're going to...
Steve Smith
34?
is 34.
They've got 2-3 years of this court.
He doesn't look bad, but he doesn't look himself. Now, Cummins is young. He's 30.
Yeah, Cummins
and I wanted to look at Stark, because I'm not sure if Stark is as young as Cummins, or he's a little few older.
He's the one that's
So
30.
even him, 5 or 6 years for sure, they're going to have to be bringing some guys up. Last thing I want to say is what I think is just absolutely ridiculous. Okay, but I saw it a lot. And I feel like the Australian media overreacts whenever they lose anything, right? They can win 10 times in a row. They're right now in top 3 all time for the longest Ashes streak against England.
Woo!
Okay, retaining or having it. So they overreact. But after like the third day, all I saw was all these different reports coming out of Australia and from fans about get rid of Cummins as captain. Sack him as captain.
I saw that.
And
I was like,
I thought personally myself, that's a little too hasty. Just won the World Test Championship. Going to win or regain 2 Ashes back-to-back under his captaincy. The state of cricket before that. All this kind of stuff. That's a little too hasty. What are your thoughts about that?
Here's the
You
thing.
think he should be sacked?
I am a fan of Paddy Cummins, but one of the concerns was he going to underbowl himself or overbowl himself? Nick, again, I called it before it happened. Cummins cannot keep up this performance. He cannot keep going. I don't think he had taken off a match. And obviously he's the captain, so he's not going to be left off. Talk about rest. England, with their rest policy,
Missed a few matches from injury, I believe.
which drives me crazy, just injuries. But he had bowled, if I'm not mistaken, I think it was 10 or 12 innings straight. That's a lot of innings, especially when you're taking on 30, 40 overs. Bro, that's a lot of balls. That's a lot of balls delivered. And of course, he was going to become ineffective. Here's going to come the injury. I already see it. I just don't think that as a bowler, you're going to make the right decisions, whether you're over bowling yourself under. But same thing with Ben Stokes. I was like, why is Ben Stokes not bowling himself? Well, I didn't realize there was an injury there with him. But again, I just feel like that should not be. I told you, captaincy is the hardest job in cricket. Think about baseball. Let's relate this to baseball. A pitcher's out there on the mound, right? He's throwing ducks. He knows he's got nothing, right? The coach comes out, or the pitching coach comes out, and he's, how you feeling? I'm great. You want to come out? What pitcher ever wants to come out the game? Name one. Everybody wants to go out there.
Some do.
Bro,
Blake Snell, and I don't want to get too far off track, but he only pitched like 80 pitches, 5 innings. He didn't want to go back in the 6th because it was too hot outside. The reliever gave up 2 runs, other guy 1 run. They ended up losing the game. That inning he could have given them would have been huge.
That's one of the few.
Yes,
but normally, most baseball players most pitchers never want to come out. They always want the ball. Give me the ball, Skip. Right? The movie Major League. Right? He's like, I'm throwing everything I could think. I got one more out in me. They always think they got one more out in them until they give it up.
Schilling was famous for that. He would tell his managers, you better be coming out for a pep talk, because I know you're not coming out here.
Yeah, you're not taking me out the game. Yeah, there were pitchers that managers were afraid to go out there and take them out.
Taking me out.
So the same thing in cricket. Now there is no manager. You're the on-field captain. You're gonna pull yourself. You're gonna not bowl yourself. Stop it. You're gonna take those overs. You're gonna overbowl yourself. And I think that's what's happening with Paddy Cummins. So from that perspective, I think that those fans are right. But to your point, nobody was saying that when he was winning, when he first became captain, and they're winning match after match, they're winning test match after test match, they won the WTC. All of a sudden, it looks like they're about to lose the Ashes, and they, let's be honest, right now it should be 2-2 with the opportunity for that 5th match. Again, no late than Lyon, depleted Paddy Cummins. If it was 2-2 right now, Paddy Cummins might have already got sacked. If it was 2-2 going into that 5th match, he would have got sacked, dropped off the team so that somebody else could bowl. And okay, Smudge, you're back in there. Honestly, that's what would have happened.
They have had a near historic run with him as captain.
I agree, but I did hear the same reports. And listen,
that's how much they just hate England and how little they think of England. Where it's like, We lost 2 in a row. Get rid of him. Get rid of the entire team. Stop it. It's too hasty.
Speaking about England, let me ask you this question.
Mm-hmm.
For all the basketball naysayers out there, listen, it wasn't the people are gonna be, oh no, look, no. You go look. And I hate Johnny Bairstow. He wasn't playing tests out there, cousin. 118 strike rate in
My reply to that
cricket.
is 1 innings in one
test.
match where it works is great. What happened to the other 3 matches? It hasn't been consistent enough. They haven't been doing. Pakistan had their own version of basketball, and it caught them. They hadn't won a test match in a year. Ashjar told me they beat Sri Lanka in Sri Lanka, which is no easy feat, right?
How many drops were there in those games? I'm just curious.
I don't know, but listen. It's a great situation if you can execute, but they haven't been able to execute this entire series.
But what I'm saying is they executed in that. Honestly, they should not have lost that. I think it was the first or second test match. Sorry.
No, they didn't play well enough. The bowling was just that much better.
The bowling was good, but they should have won that test match. Ben Stokes declared too early. But the third match, they absolutely destroyed Australia. The fourth match, they destroyed Australia. Look at some of those strike rates, guys. We're not out there playing cautiously. The Moeen Ali experiment worked because he's gonna go in there, get you some. I'm just saying, you cannot say, "Oh, basketball is dead."
I'm not saying it's dead.
Not
I just
you,
don't
but
think
people
their
were.
execution with this has been good enough.
I think that it's an exciting way to play, and again, I think that England had England won and retained the Ashes at home with basketball, it would have been a different story. But people are now going to say, no, even if England wins the 4th match, okay, it's still match drawn because it would have been 2-2 and a draw. And even though we know that the 4th test match should have been an England win, nobody's going to look at that in the history books. It's just, it was a retention of the Ashes, and they're going to blame basketball. What I'm saying is just like, take a closer look at it, and that's not why they lost, in my opinion.
They shouldn't blame basketball. I think that even though it's in England, I think the team is a better improved team than they were when they played the Ashes in Australia.
Yes, for sure.
But I feel like they've underperformed. I feel like at the end of the day, and we haven't even seen the 5th match yet, but I feel like at the end of the day, they should have but they should have been able to secure 3 wins, in my opinion. That's just, and I don't think that they've been able to execute their batting besides this 1 innings in this match has been lackluster. Even in the 3rd match that they won, I just looked it up. They scored 250 in 1 innings in about 50 overs, and then 237 in 52 overs. That's 5 or less runs an over. Not bad. You're going to take that every single time. This one they were close to 6 runs per over. So I mean, it's not like they were killing it previously. If basketball is here to stay, I'm fine with it, but let's not call it basketball every time when they're not able to execute every single time. It'd be different if they were just, not going to cover up the ball everywhere they went. Let us know what your thoughts are on this 4th match, in my opinion, the controversy of this 4th match.
Prediction.
And the lame way that Australia was able to get that draw and retain those Ashes. I feel like the next match, if the retain has already been decided, besides outright win it, nobody really cares. But England will fight. I think England's going to win this match, and it's going to be a situation where, okay, we both won. We both had a draw. We're at home. You get to retain it, or we won it last. Whatever. It's a draw all over the place, and that's how it should be looked at, personally.
I'm rooting for Australia here, but
especially with this
a depleted. I mean, hey, guys, come on. Patty Cummins looked terrible. Depleted Patty Cummins. Still no Nathan Lyon. That was a funny thing to me. When Nathan Lyon tore his calf, Nick, and in the 3rd, they're like, well, maybe he might be able to make it for the. What? It's a torn calf. What? He's a bowler. I knew there was no way he was going to play in that 4th test match. I'm like, come on. Stop it. Okay? Stop it. You got to be kidding me. With that being said, man, I'm nervous. I think it may be a loss. And in the history books, it's going to show, regardless of what happens this 4th test match, Australia retains the Ashes. But it is a 2-2 draw. That's why Australia retained the Ashes. And they were aided by rain. I am more concerned about, I just feel like you're right, Nick. They're getting long in the tooth. And by saying that, like, Smudge looks older than he is, meaning his play. You're right. I feel like he's slowing down. He's basically slept through these Ashes, man. David Warner is not David Warner. He's not giving me those big centuries you need. He's not giving me the huge numbers that you expect out of a David Warner. Kawhi, he's carried this team for a little bit now, but he didn't have the best. And I'm like, guys, we got to start planning for the future. And I called. This is where I was wrong. I called for Cam Green. Remember, I lost my mind. We didn't have any Cam Green. Cam Green didn't make a difference. No. Cam Green did. He's a savior. He's our savior.
You gotta give him time. You want everything right now.
Always.
Australia fans, just be so grateful that you don't fly home and have to play India because they dominate you. They're just saying.
Oh shit.
They got South Africa next before, if I'm not mistaken, and they have the shorter formats with India after that before the World Cup. Let us know what your thoughts are. Thank you so much for listening to us. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And until next time.
That's 6 runs.